Hi, I'm Lauren and welcome back to Spoonful. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about ordering your proteins from a farmer. So if you saw last week's video, I'll go ahead and put it above or below somewhere. We picked up our share of pork from a farmer. We had found a local A2A2 milk producer in our area that delivers milk close to our home, about half-hour away for pickup, and we absolutely love it. We had this service in Minnesota 4 years ago. When we moved here, we could not find what we were looking for, and that's because the laws are different, but we kept searching, kept asking around, and eventually found one that meets our needs. So with that, I still needed to find the best way to buy proteins. So I am looking for two type of protein services. So one thing I was looking for was a curated box. That means the farmer is able to put together certain popular cuts of meat into one box at a time. For example, 10 pounds of ground beef, some beef ribs, and a couple roasts, and they'll set that as one price. That poundage of that box will be very similar so that any customer will get the exact same or very close to the same poundage for the same price. Azure actually sells that, and local farmers do too. Another option I was looking for is, can I curate my own package by selecting certain cuts and quantity to reach maybe a minimum price that the farmer will set? When we worked with the farmer last year for our beef, I'll attach that video below if you guys missed that. That particular farmer had it by the size. 1/16 of a cow, 1/8 of a cow, 1/4 of a cow, half of a cow, or a whole. Most places refer to it as steer or beef, half of a beef, half of a steer. But that's what they set pre-made, and the price was by poundage, just in case the 1/4 of the steer came to 35 pounds for one person, but it came to 41 for another person. That's why they give you the price. You have to put down a deposit when you do that method, and then once the beef is ready for pickup and they contact you, you'll get the final invoice. So we enjoyed that process last year. I am pretty okay with every cut that they provide, except for I got a beef heart last December, and it is August. It is still sitting in my deep freezer, and it has to be dealt with really, really soon before our next share of beef comes in this fall. So look forward to that experiment of what to do with a beef heart. But other cuts, fine with steaks and roasts, and we know exactly what to do with so many cuts. So if that is your method, if you're the kind of person that can cook almost any kind of cut of meat, you know how to do it, then ordering a portion of an animal will best fit you. If you are wondering what to do with random cuts and you're only used to ground meat and maybe a roast, then perhaps a curated box is a better choice. Either way, you could get it for all cuts of meat: pork, chicken, beef, even lamb. I've seen it. But other than that, you can pretty much do it with any cut of meat. Now chicken can be a little easier to select because sometimes farmers will sell whole chickens by the quantity. For example, Polyface Farms will sell dozen of whole chickens as one lump sum price in a curated box. Other farmers will sell maybe 10 to 15 packs of chicken breasts or chicken quarters, depending on cuts that they like to sell. And then we had a wonderful CSA in Minnesota that we got to buy a cut up chicken. So each part of the chicken was bagged up individually, and then all of it was in one large bag frozen. And we picked that up. I think we did about 2 a month, and that was perfect because when I got home, I put all the chicken wings in one freezer bag, all the breasts in another, thighs in another, and drums in another. And I was able to accumulate enough that makes a meal for us. And so that during the winter months, I just pull out the breast bag, pull out individual bag of breast, and I can be able to cook up 2 or 4 and have our meals. So look for those options too. So let's break down what in the world did we pick up when we grabbed our pork share. So when we got to the location to pick up our share, it was in a cooler, and we dumped everything into our own cooler. We had the option of taking their coolers home and returning them the next week, but we will be out of town, so we didn't have that option to return it on time. So we definitely wanted to just leave their things there. And so what we did was take it over to my mother's house and started dividing it all up, get it all spread out all over the table so we know exactly how many cuts we had of each. My parents are splitting the bill with us, and so we were able to select who wants what. I did pre-select the items. For example, we didn't get any bacon. And I know you guys are like, what? And that's because sausage goes a little further in this household than bacon. I feel that I can do a lot more breakfast casseroles, breakfast sandwiches. That doesn't mean we'll be without bacon. I just didn't want our half a pig to lose so much quantity of weight to bacon when I could get sausage and let it go further. So we ended up with about 24 or 26 pounds of ground pork that we will self-season. I have my own seasoning mix that I have played around with for years. I think about 6 years ago, I came up with one that I really love. And so we will season our own meat. We'll take that out, season it up, and use it accordingly. And of course, my parents are like, please share the love. We want some of that seasoning too, because they don't quite know what to do with ground pork. I do have a couple recipes with ground pork that we will not season it up as breakfast meat. We will season it up as lap or probably Italian sausage. But we'll see when that time comes, because lap we eat a lot in the summer and not as much in the winter. So the other cuts that we picked up was ham. Ham, especially if you have some beans, it is such an easy meal to throw those beans in a crock pot, a chunk of ham, and let it cook all day long while you hang out getting some homeschool work done. If you go off to work, it can cook on its own. If you have an Instant Pot, you can set it to a feature, allow it to cook low and slow. So when you get home, all you have to do is make sure you either have cornbread or some rice. So we wanted to make sure we had a good amount of ham. Another really great cut that we were able to get our hands on was pork chops. And I chose all bone-in because boneless for us dry out. I don't care how many different ways I cook it. I've always found that a bone out pork chop gets dry for us. But a bone-in, perfect. Doesn't matter if it's roasted in the oven, pan fried in our cast iron, or grilled outside. The bone-in is so good, and I'm not afraid to just cut the meat right off the bone and serve it to my son if he doesn't want the bone on his plate. But those were the three major cuts that we received. We had an option of selecting some unusual items, so we did pick up some jowl, which is very similar to bacon. We did get the fat so I could render down and make our lard for the year. And let's see, anything else that was different? I don't know. I'll show a picture of it if it's something else that we totally forgot. All right, so let's talk shop. The one comment that I got on our beef video was like, it's wonderful, but it's too expensive. Yes, when you get beef directly from a local farmer, it is going to be expensive. And that's because the quality is higher and the feed that the animal received is a higher quality, and that cost does trickle all the way down to the receiver, the purchaser, which is you. It is to your advantage to have that higher quality meat if you're going to eat meat. Now, what does that do to your wallet? It's like, great, but how do I afford it? What we do in this family, because I don't have thousands of dollars to spend all the time, is we take the cost of that meat and we divide it. Typically between August and December or August and November is a time frame that a lot of animals go off to the freezer camp. So we start saving so that 12 months from now we will have the amount of money that we need. Number 2, we find a friend. Yes. Sometimes it's a friend, sometimes it's my parents. Last year we split a very large order of chicken from the farmer that we love to get chicken from, and they have a large delivery fee. And that delivery fee is often $30-$40. So that can be kind of tough when you're like, I can get so much meat from that. But if you're ordering $500-$600 worth of chicken between 2 or 3 families, that $30 dwindles on down, and it makes that delivery so helpful and so useful. So make sure that you find a friend like my friend that wants just as much of healthy proteins. Number 3, look for a farmer that can deliver closer to you or closer to the other person that's in your ordering group that's cheap, if not free. So the pork that we picked up, we did not have a delivery charge. Okay, very, very helpful. And that's because we are already a customer ordering milk from them. If you are going to end up with a delivery charge, add that delivery charge into your savings. So you're probably thinking, how much savings are we looking at? If you are looking at ordering roughly 40 or so pounds, 30 to 50, I was going in the middle of 40 pounds of protein, you might be looking at $40 a month in savings. Now, you're probably thinking like, that's astronomical. 12 months of that's $480. Well, if you're splitting with a friend, that's 20 pounds of meat for yourself, and that's half the cost. If you're splitting with 3 friends, three friends, then it's even less than that. You need to evaluate how much protein your family eats in a week, and this makes a tremendous difference. That is our protein. Now, yes, we did buy a half a pig, which split with my parents coming home with a 4th. That's probably the most pork we're going to eat in the next 12 months. I'll pick up probably 10 pounds of bacon, but that's about it. We don't eat pork every single week. It's just brings variety to our diet, but it's not our main staple. Our main staple is probably fish, chicken, and beef. Those are the 3 that we eat every single week. And so our large share of beef shows that. Minus the beef heart. Like I said, stay tuned so we can figure out what in the world to do with this thing. If you know an idea of beef heart, drop it below. I did get one comment before, and I looked it up, and it looked more intimidating than what they tried to say it was. But if you have a really good recipe for beef heart, let me know so I can give it a go. I told my father it's going to be him and I figuring this out so we all can eat it. But yeah, so I hope these tips are helpful for you guys. If you are trying to figure out how to do this order, maybe it's too late for you for this fall because of savings. Start saving now. You'll be surprised. $30 a month, put into a savings account, put in an envelope underneath your pillow or something, I don't know, and see who you can find over the next year, and then perhaps at the end of next summer of 2025, you guys can put in an order for your proteins. If you're able to jump on that bandwagon now, start looking for your farmer now, especially if you like locally raised healthy turkeys. A lot of farmers are getting their poults in, and they are collecting orders based off of how many turkeys they have, and that way you get a nice organic bird. Because trust me, the turkey you're eating at Thanksgiving time is way older than you think it is, and it's not as fresh as they try to market it to be. But if you work with local farmers, you'll learn. You'll learn when things go to freezer camp and when they can be right in your freezer ready for the next meal. So, what is your favorite method of finding and saving for your local meats? If you don't do this method, give a reason what is the stumbling block. Maybe other people can help you to stock your freezer up with what you exactly love to eat. Does this mean you have to miss out on some junk food? Probably so. Yeah. Other than potato chips and fruit snacks here and there, we have to miss out on a whole lot. And that's not just because of meat. We got food allergies in the house. But meat does actually help me. It's like I need to cut back on my budget so my little one can have some fresh protein, better protein. I hope to see you guys next time. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for dropping by.